angry,
constant worry,
fear,
stress.
you get anxious.
I felt really frustrated.
These are the main emotions students feel while doing their dissertation. But it gets more challenging when these emotions come together.
Fear mixed with anxiety at the same time.
Not everything is negative, and there are also positive emotions.
There was excitement at points.
You're really excited and you're happy.
In fact, doing a dissertation is an emotional roller coaster, as Dominic explains.
It is literally a roller coaster. It goes up and down, up and down. 1 minute you're really excited and you're happy because you think you're making progress, and you are making progress, and you're excited about it, and you can see that you're learning and you're developing. But then the other side is, if something perhaps doesn't go where you thought it would, you get really down and you get anxious and you get angry and you get frustrated and you think you can't do it.
If you have started your dissertation, you will know firsthand that one of the most challenging parts of doing it is managing your emotions. In this context, being able to manage the emotional side of a dissertation is vital to do well. The question is, how can you manage your emotions while doing the dissertation? Here are two proven strategies according to Imogen and Dominic.
Eating a lot of chocolate.
Maybe have a glass of wine.
More seriously, in this video, my students share some of the strategies they employed to manage their emotions. A big thank you to Dominic, Ellie, Genesis and Imogen for their input, without which this video would not have been possible. Strategy number 1.
To take a breather. I took a moment to myself because I very emotional, and I just took a step back for a moment, breathe, make me a cup of tea.
Give it time. You need to come back to some bits with fresh minds.
Doing a dissertation can be very intense, and one can really take on the task in a very serious way. And that's why it is important to leave the task aside, to step back from it when it becomes difficult to manage your emotions. And this is important so that you have a mini reset, and in this instance, a mini emotional reset. This mini reset gives you time to come back with a fresh mind, as Dom said, but also time to process emotions, a topic we will come back to in the last strategy. So watch until the end when Ellie shares what I consider to be the most important strategy. Strategy number 2.
Try to approach in a different way, because if I was frustrated, it's because the way I was doing it, it wasn't working. So I need to just take another approach. If I was reading a journal, for example, I will just, okay, I'm not going to read this part because I'm not getting this. I'm just going to go to a different journal that goes along the same way, and then I'll come back to this one later.
Move on to something perhaps that you can deal with at that time.
Sometimes we can't progress because we are not ready to complete the task successfully. This means that when emotions are running high, such as you're very frustrated or very angry at the situation, it is appropriate to leave that task aside and move on to something else that we think may be easier or maybe different enough from the difficult task. A word of warning here: don't move on to something else at the first hurdle. But if it is becoming emotionally difficult after you had a good go, for example, you're very frustrated or anxious, then adopt this strategy. After we've had our mini break, sometimes the best strategy is not moving on to doing something else that we find easier, but to adopt the next strategy. Strategy number 3.
If you perhaps don't understand something and you're getting angry and frustrated, go and learn about it. Maybe just look up videos, something to help ease the process a bit more and let that anger out. Because you're probably getting angry and frustrated because you don't actually understand what you need to do. I think that's why I got angry and frustrated a lot of the time, because I didn't actually understand what I needed to do, or I perhaps needed to do something but just gave up straight away without actually learning about it, reading up on it.
When you're trying to complete a new task, it's very important to bear in mind that you have to learn how to do it before you can do it. Or at least you have to do both side by side. You learn as you try doing. And one of the battles I have as a supervisor is to fight against my students' tendency to focus too much on the doing, ignoring the learning. But if you disregard the learning when you're trying to do something that you still don't know how to do, it's going to be painful. and certainly emotionally painful. You have to bear in mind that learning how to do something is 80% of the effort and time required to complete a new task. And Dominic's strategy, which she learned during the dissertation, is incredibly important. All my students who do well succeed because they prioritize the learning at the expense of the doing. And once you know how to do it, doing it is fairly straightforward. Fair enough, you still need time, but it will be a lot easier and faster. And perhaps more importantly, certain emotions are less likely to be present, such as anxiety, anger, and frustration. I've actually recorded an entire video on the difference between learning and doing, and this video features in the Virtual Tutor online resource. Time to move on to strategy number 4.
Every Sunday, I played football. I didn't do any uni work. I had my day to do no work. And I think you can't be doing it 24/7, along with your other units as well. Obviously having a hobby or a sport really helps.
Doing a dissertation can easily become the focus of your life, to the point that you prioritize it above everything. And as a consequence, it's not uncommon for people to stop doing other activities that are important to their well-being, notably the emotional well-being. While I can understand that sometimes it's hard to find time to do everything, and I've been there before, it is extremely important for your emotional well-being that you do not let the dissertation take over your life. If you have a hobby, continue doing it. Maybe you'll have to reduce your involvement a little bit, but don't stop it. And if your friends invite you to go out, accept the invitation. Activities that take your mind away from the dissertation should be welcomed and actively sought, as they provide mini emotional resets, and they go a long way in helping you to be in a better emotional state when you come back to it. And therefore, this will allow you to be more productive. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to press the like button. It costs you nothing and it can help the video to gain traction on YouTube. Strategy number 5.
Up until this point, it's going to be probably one of the biggest pieces of work you've done. So make sure you kind of look after yourself, and going forward, you know how you dealt with it, and make sure you review on that point on how you coped and kind of learn from that going forward, really.
As you can see, Imogen used the dissertation to help her learn how to cope with emotions better. So, if the dissertation has an important emotional dimension by default, why not using it as a learning opportunity? Why not using it to learn how to cope with and manage your emotions better? In fact, this can be one of the best long-term benefits of doing a dissertation, which you will benefit from for the rest of your life. In the end, once you learn to be better at coping with and managing your emotions, you will not unlearn it. It stays with you forever. Before we move on to the last piece of advice, and for me the most effective strategy, I would like to know your experience of managing emotions. What emotion or emotions are you finding the hardest to manage? What strategies have you been using to help you manage your emotions? Let me know in the comments below, and if there are good strategies, maybe I'll do a video about them. And we've arrived at what is perhaps the most important strategy: express emotions. And Ellie explains the need to express emotions in a very compelling way.
There's no point holding it in, because if you hold it in, it's just going to bubble up. So you've got to get it out, have your 10-15 minutes to yourself, do what you need to do, calm down, but get it out, and then you can go back to it with a clear mind. There's no point trying to hold it in, because it will come out eventually. If you need to cry, if you need to rant or vent to your friends, just do it, and then you can get back to your work. It honestly just feels like you've got a weight lifted off your shoulders once you've done it. I think holding in your emotions is some of the worst things you can do. You need to get it out if you need to get it out, and then you can go back to being productive. Even if you need to take half a day, it will be more beneficial than if you just carry on trying to sit there and write, because your mind's not going to be with it.
To put it straight, if you don't validate the emotion stays inside you and adds to any other non-validated emotions. And as these emotions accumulate, it starts to be emotionally overwhelming, which is detrimental to your progress. So find a way of expressing the emotion. You can talk to someone when you're frustrated or anxious. You can cry when you're sad or anxious. No problem in crying. It's a natural way of expressing the emotion. You can swear when you're frustrated or angry. You can punch a pillow when you're angry. Use whatever method helps you to express the relevant emotion. And obviously, this will differ from student to student. When I need to process my anger, I go to the gym and punch the bag. I know other people who do it differently. They process anger by heating a rolled up shower towel with a piece of hard plastic pipe. In the end, use whatever works for you. Obviously, as long as it respects those around you. If you want to swear loud, go to the middle of the forest. Don't do it in the library. Importantly, always tell yourself that it's all right to feel those emotions. After all, you are a human being and you are supposed to feel them, especially throughout such a challenging task as a dissertation. If you want to know about more strategies to help you cope with your emotions, my students have shared other strategies which are included in the Virtual Tutor online resource. More information about the resource is in the description below. And here are 2 videos with more great tips to help you write a better dissertation.